Let's begin the show with Afghanistan, where successive suicide bombs striking Kabul Airport killed more than 100 people, including US troops. The explosions claimed by Islamic State ripped through the crowds just hours after Western governments had warned of an imminent attack and told their people to stay away from the airport. For American forces, the attacks were a gruesome coda to almost 20 years of warfare in Afghanistan, one of their heaviest losses just days before they are set to leave the country. A report.
Two suicide bombers and gunmen attacked crowds of Afghans flocking to Kabul's airport, transforming a scene of desperation into one of horror. In back-to-back explosions, at least 90 Afghans and 13 US troops were killed. The bombs were set off near a crowd of families at the airport gates who were desperately hoping to make one of the last evacuation flights out. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the blasts in a statement and said one of its bombers had targeted translators and collaborators with the American army. Video shot by Afghan journalists showed dozens of bodies strewn around a canal on the edge of the airport.
دفتن انفجار شد ما از بین او بیرون برآمده بودیم دیدیم که بسیار مردم بود همین که انفجار شد هر طرف مردم بود که تید پاشان شدن مغزایشان باد شدن و همین نیروی خارجی بودن که وام افتادن چپه شدن همون بود که درگیر گریز شدن ما برآمدیم مردم خب بسیار زیاد حداقل هیچ کنه یک 400 500 نفر که من دیدم بسیار قوی انفجار بود که نیمش در بین هم افتاد نیمش در بیرون افتادن و در کراچی انتقال دادیم زخمی‌ها را کمیال مکمل کل لباسای هم خون پاشید.
Western officials had warned of a major attack, urging people to leave the airport, but that advice went largely unheeded by Afghans desperate to escape the country. However, the question arises that how suicide bombers managed to reach the American army at Barron Camp near Kabul Airport. Could more have been done to protect the perimeter of Kabul Airport and prevent suicide bombers approaching American forces and innocent Afghan civilians? This attack also raises the question over Taliban's capabilities to maintain peace and stability in the region.
Everybody knew that bomb blast is going to take place. Americans were warning, and yet it has taken place. It means, number one, the Taliban has failed to secure security of that airport. One thing has been confirmed. Taliban is not capable of providing peace, stability, and security. That has now been confirmed. And they're finding difficulty even in forming the so-called inclusive government, And it's a force, Taliban, they know how to create terror, but they don't know how to maintain peace and stability.
ISIS-K, or Islamic State Khorasan province, which has claimed the attacks, is the regional affiliate of ISIS that is active in Afghanistan and Pakistan. It is the most extreme and violent of all the jihadist terror groups in Afghanistan. It recruits from both Afghan and Pakistani jihadists, especially defecting members of the Afghan Taliban, who don't see their own organization as extreme enough. Islamic State had been blamed for some of the worst atrocities in Afghanistan, targeting girls' schools, hospitals, and even a maternity ward, where they reportedly shot dead pregnant women and infants.
Quite possible, the Taliban may be behind this blast, and there may be ISIS may be blamed because Taliban, especially within the Taliban, the Haqqani network maintains very close ties with the ISS Khorasan. The head of ISS Khorasan is basically, earlier he was with the Haqqani network. So most of the ISS in Afghanistan is joined by the Haqqani network or other faction of Taliban. So earlier they were part of Taliban, now they have joined. So they have close links, and we have also information, everybody knows.
While Islamic State and the Taliban are hardline Sunni Islamist militants and claim to be the true flag bearers of jihad, they are sworn enemies who differ on minute details of religion and strategy. Analysts say that the rivalry between the both groups will continue after the last American troops leave, which is a threat to Afghanistan evacuation. However, according to some researchers, there are strong links between ISIS-K and the Haqqani network, which in turn is closely linked to the Taliban. The attacks on Hamid Karzai International Airport, the main source of hope for those trying to escape the city, has left many Afghans feeling desperate. A fog of uncertainty looms over Afghanistan, and people are now stuck between two brutal and violent forces.